Happy New to everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I really, really don't know what to say. But I'm here in front of the camera. It's recording. Life. Life, life, life. I have so many titles, so many themes, so many topics. It's overwhelming. And since I couldn't get it sorted out, I said, you know, let me just press record and see what happens, you know. (2018) has been the most interesting experience of everything falling apart. Everything's falling apart. Oh man, everything's falling apart. And as things are speeding up, I feel like I have never been so slowed down in my life. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? But then I realize, oh, I'm going through something called deconditioning. And I know I did a video like a couple of years ago on when I first like got into deconditioning, or just feeling these changes take place based on my new awareness about myself. But I'm like, if this is only halfway through a 7-year cycle of deconditioning, then like, what is it going to be like when I hit 7 years from when I actually started this process, you know? I have just been so detached and disconnected from everything. And I think about videos that I've done in the past, and I feel like I said things that were similar to the message that I'm feeling right now, but it's like the level of what I'm feeling is just like, is somewhere else compared to a couple of years ago when I was feeling the same energy, but the maximum that I could feel back then. It's like now it's like a new maximum, and I'm like, I got to a place, I'm still there actually. Like, I have very spontaneous moments of extreme change in the way that I feel and think about everything. Like, I've always experienced, you know, one moment feeling like this and then waking up the next day and it's like gone. I have absolutely no interest in whatever I was like really into the previous day. And I know I've been talking about like surrender and acceptance and being in the flow and listening to your body. And my body has just been very, very rebellious to anything on the outside that does not align with what it wants to do. My body doesn't care if I have to pay bills. You know, my body has like shut me down in, you know, in like being able to talk, like verbalize and express myself, for good reason. But, you know, when you're living in a world, in a society to where it's about, you know, following the systems and all of that, and, you know, the more you get into listening to this, you just find that it, like, once you give control to your vessel and you say, hey, you know, you tell the mind, you can no longer send me off. You know, the mind is always going to send you off into some direction that more than likely will be a dead end. And when you recognize that and you're like, no more mind, and then your body says, finally, you know, you're gonna let me live the way that I want to live. You're gonna let me live my life. And you really, you know, give the body its right to live the way that it wants to live. The mental anxiety that can come forward, because your mind is like, you really need to be like doing something. You really need to, you know, stop staring at walls. Like, what are you doing? And the body, it's like, no, it's my time now. It's my time. It's my time to live. If I want to stare at walls for 5 months, that's what I'm going to do. And this has been the deepest level of surrender, and just saying, oh my God, like, okay, like, I don't know what else to do, because I can't even, like, as much as like I want to say, and as much as I want to be doing stuff, like, you're not even like getting up out the seat. You're not like making any type of move. And 1 second. So yeah, it's been, I feel like I'm going through an internal genetic battle between not letting go and not holding on. And the side that seems to be winning is not holding on. And, you know, I've been searching inside of myself for caring about not letting go of things, and I can't really find it. Basically, I'm saying that I just don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care about letting go of anything. And I know I've said that before, but it's like, it's to like the 10th power now. And I feel like as time continues to move, it's gonna, like, you know, just get more and more. And I found myself in deep internal places of stillness and wanting to forget certain things, you know, just thoughts and memories that are just still lingering, that just randomly come up. And it's like, I would like for you to not be in my mind anymore. Like, I don't you know, that memory or those memories. I've realized that I guess my values and morals have changed as well. Like things that I thought were important. And things that I thought that I should be doing, those things have just like faded, like just disappeared out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I cared about those things, but clearly I don't, because there's nothing in me that resonates with those things anymore. So it's like everything is dying. Everything is falling apart as far as the building blocks of conditioning that I've taken on from the outside that really don't align with who I am and my blueprint. Yeah, it's really, things are really just fading. And I had a unexpected experience at the end of March. And it was in dealing with my phone, which I'm not a big phone person. Like, I'm not a person that's like on social media like that, or, you know, I don't spend a lot of time on my phone, but I was able to recognize where I was still entangled in the collective behavior of just having a smartphone. And for those of you who have been watching me for a while, you all know that I was just like refusing to get a smartphone. My mother got a smartphone before me, and I was using Instagram from her phone. Like, I created my Instagram account from her phone because I was like, no, I'm going to hold on to my little prepaid $50 phone. It's taped up, but it doesn't matter. I refuse to get into that world of smartphones. But got to a point to where I couldn't really do anything. The things that I needed to do in my evolution, I couldn't really do it with the little prepaid phone I had. So in 2016, I finally got a smartphone. And I've always been aware of getting wrapped up in it. And I never really did the way most people do, or other people do. But it's still, there's an insidious like entanglement that takes place just by having a smartphone that I was randomly, spontaneously, magically shown at the end of March. And I had a vision. I had a vision that my smartphone had tentacles, and these tentacles were like in me, and they were just sucking life out of me. And it was so vivid. The dream was like, or the vision, I was awake. The vision was so vivid, and I could feel it. Like, I could energetically feel this phone, like with all of these different like portals. And I was driven to turn my phone off, and I did it for 6 days. That was the first time. I turned my phone completely off for 6 days, and the first 48 hours, I actually could feel like a withdrawal or something like that. Like, I've never been addicted to anything, so I don't know what it really feels like, but I felt like jittery. I felt like this anxiousness, you know, and my mind was like, you know, you don't have your phone on. And I have a habit of turning my phone off every night. But usually at some point during the day, the next day, I will turn it on at some point. Not usually like as soon as I wake up, but at least my phone will be on every day at some point. And my energy, you know, my body was like, no, like, don't touch that thing. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. You need to disconnect. Even though like I already felt disconnected pretty much since the end of December of last year. Like after that last video I did, I felt like there was a shutdown, which, you know, makes sense due to it was that hibernation, you know, ending of the cycle type energy. But, you know, it was just still interesting that after spring comes and you think that it's about, you know, getting back into the swing of things and, you know, this newness, this energy of, you know, life coming back, I was moved to disconnect even more, which really threw me off. But I had to accept it because at this point, I don't really know how to go against the way my body is driven to move. Like it feels too hurtful inside to go against what your body is wanting to do when you have chosen to let your body guide you and to move in the way that it has the least resistance. So the first 48 hours was interesting, but it did not take me long at all to get so comfortable with not having that phone on. And I'm like, dang, okay. Am I falling off the face of the earth? Like, what does this mean? Like, am I ever coming back to social media? Am I ever coming back to YouTube? Like, I started to have those type of thoughts because I'm like, yo, this feels so good. Feels so good to not care if anyone's trying to contact me, you know, just not care because, you know, you don't realize, you don't realize the effects that, you know, electronics, not just the phones, but the computer, you know, being in a neighborhood to where usually everybody has Wi-Fi, you know, it's like, I can see, you know, like in my vision, I can see like a Wi-Fi net around my neighborhood, not just coming from my house, but, you know, and then there's an issue with these cell phone towers popping up, you know, like beaming and blasting people and creating all types of problems with the body, cancers, and, you know, all types of stuff. So I recognize that this year has been about really being more sensitive within my body, being more aware of subtle energies and frequencies that most people are not aware of, because when you're, you know, when you're constantly on a go, when you're always on your phone or always on your computer and just, you don't, it's like you have to experience stillness, and you have to experience stillness without looking on your phone. Like, it's people that may be able to sit still, but they're still like going because they're like on their phone, or they sit still and they're on their computer. It's like my body was like, no, like you can't do any of it. You have to feel it in order to know what you're missing, and to know where you are being, you know, drained in certain areas. And I felt myself get stronger in those 6 days, to the point to where the night that I decided to turn my phone back on, I actually, it's almost like the energy built up, like when you're connected and when you have that, like the phone is like a portal. It's like an open portal that doesn't have like a door. You know, it's like it's on, and most people never turn their phones on. They just, you know, they sleep with it next to them, and, you know, get beamed through the night. And, you know, it's an open portal for all types of things to like come and go. And in shutting down the portal, my energy stayed with me. Like my energy built up. It's like the phone is like a leak. It's like a opening to leak out your energy. So when you close that off and you seal it to where it's just you and your energy, if you know, you build up. So it's like you don't have a choice but to feel strong if you do this. So I felt stronger, even though I luckily have a lifestyle that allows me to move the way that I want to move. It's like, and it's pretty peaceful and quiet, and I'm not bombarded with a lot of auras and people. I was still able to see where I was still leaking energy. And when I turned my phone back on, I ended up, within like an hour or so, I ended up in a room with a bunch of new people that were all interested in human design. You know, it was like, oh, that's what was waiting for me, you know. But if I feel that if I hadn't followed, you know, my body and shut everything down and let myself just be in my own energy, I don't feel that I would have had the proper energy available to handle a room of people and do, you know, like impromptu human design sessions with everyone. And that was like, okay, I see what this is about. So I turned my phone off again. I was excited at that point. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting the information. I know what this is about now. So I was excited to turn my phone off again. And I did. And this time it was for like 12 days, like almost 2 weeks. And man, it was amazing. It was amazing. I did not care. I didn't care about anything or anyone. I was enjoying just, the phone was actually in a bag like the whole time. I didn't think about the phone. It was just like, just waking up. And, you know, the only thing I checked, which was on my computer, you know, I do still have a business, and, you know, I definitely don't want to ignore clients. So I did check my PayPal, because I'm like, okay, that's something that, you know, I can put my energy towards. But it was very clear to me that this was all a part of like this deconditioning process that I'm going through. And it didn't take me long at all to like really feel the effects of the positive effects of turning the phone off, keeping it off, and actually being at peace within myself. And the level of clarity that I got within my thought process, my body, it really helped to purge and eliminate a lot of things that can unconsciously just come through the phone from it just being on, because the phone is this portal to like another world. You know, the internet is like another world. It's another universe, and it's intertwined with this physical reality, but it's, you know, you can be really taken, you know, into areas of this other world that don't have anything to do with how your physical body should be moving and operating. And with the phone being on and being able to just send you an alert to tell you about a new Groupon deal, or tell you about, you know, some type of terrorist attack that happened, you know, in some other part of the country. Whether you look at it, read it or not, the fact that it comes through on the phone, the fact that it's there and it's accessible, and it's like the information has already come through, like you've already received the download, even though you haven't read it yourself. Same thing with YouTube. Like you get on YouTube and you end up like somewhere else on YouTube. It's like, how did I get here? Because, you know, the recommended videos, and, you know, it doesn't always stay on topic. You know, it insidiously like takes you like away from what you're, you know, whatever you're trying to get information on. And yeah, it's like you for me, it was like I have to be aware of how my energy is being utilized. And that has been like a major thing in these last in 2018 period so far for me. It's been about how do you utilize your energy for the best and highest good of yourself and others. So I've been able to recognize where my value lies, and I've been able to see, and it's like an ongoing process. So it's not like anything is over, but I've been able to see from situations in the past where I was putting my energy to where it wasn't even of any value to the situation. And now it's like it's becoming more focused, more strategic in how it moves. And I'm at a place now to where, you know, and this aligns with my design and my strategy of responding. It's like I have no interest in like reaching out to anything or anyone. It's like I'm getting more and more and more settled into waiting and being patient. Even though this is always gonna do what it does, it's like I have a design that when it's operating in the not self, it's all over the place. It's very busy. It's jumping from one thing to another, leaving behind a lot of incomplete projects, which even on YouTube, I can see aspects to where I thought that I was going to complete something and I didn't. And all of those things are not self aspects of me. And when you've been operating as your not self your whole life, and you become aware of that, and you start going through deconditioning and unlearning certain things, it doesn't just happen in a week or a month or even 5 months. You know, like this was a very, I can feel that this is like building up to a place to where I wouldn't be surprised if like the next time I have a big break, it's for like a year. You know, like I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised, because there's a gradual process. It's a gradual process of, you know, okay, there's been times where I've been absent from YouTube for months. Don't really remember how long it was, but, you know, it may be, you know, a 3-month period from last time. Now it's, you know, 5 months. And that's even if I actually post this video. And then next time, you know, it may be 8 months, who knows? But it's a building process, because as you're eliminating certain things, the new energy that you're eliminating old stuff, and in that elimination, you have to adjust and process as the new energy is coming in. So these 5 months have been about, okay, you know, I've been constantly feeling things going out and coming in, going out and coming in. And because that never stops, even when it feels like nothing is happening and you're just like sitting there staring at walls, there's always something happening. And I just wasn't able to get to a place of being able to talk, being able to like express anything, because it, you know, things were, you know, happening. And, you know, this is a moment in time to where I was moved to do this video, and I felt it, and I'm like, okay, I have gone through, you know, enough of this process to at least put something out. And it is in response to certain individuals who I've communicated with, and I've explained to them what I've been experiencing, and they've asked me to, you know, express this to other people, because it seems that there are definitely more people in the world that are having similar experiences, but I'm just not aware of it because I haven't been in tune or connected to the outside world too much. The things that I have seen and are aware of still fall in the chaos and confusion categories. But again, I've said this, that's just where we're at. Like, this is not, I know that in my lifetime, I'm not going to experience like a balancing of all of the craziness going on. Like, it's not gonna, there's not gonna be a peace on earth that many people are hoping for in my lifetime, at least. I'm very sure of that. I'm not gonna see that. But I've learned that life is about consistently coming to grips with the fact that genetically you are building and dying at the same time. And that may be like kind of harsh for certain people to hear, for those that, you know, haven't really accepted, you know, like what the end game is for all of us. But it's about being, for me, I've learned that it's about being as peaceful and relaxed as the flow moves you, as the changes, you know, move you through life. And again, not be in resistance, not be in conflict with yourself. And if you do experience internal conflict, address it, you know, like however you go about doing that, you know, address what is making you tense, what is making you feel uneasy, and face it. I know that's not easy for everyone, but for me, I feel like there's some type of autopilot happening, you know, like I can't help but to move in the directions that I'm moving and feel the way that I'm feeling about things, which is very like, I can't do anything about it. You know, this is just what's happening, and this is what's feeling the most comfortable, even when it does not match with the majority of people around me, the majority of society, the collective. I have to accept that I'm gonna I'm gonna appear to be weirder and weirder to people who are wrapped up in the chaos and confusion of the world, and you know, being busy, not feeling grounded within themselves, not feeling relaxed within their body, not feeling good, and always in conflict or always feeling tension. You know, my lifestyle and the direction I'm moving is going to just conflict more and more with those people. And it's nothing I can do about it, because at this point, if I try to go backwards, I might as well just like somehow make it to where I'm no longer here, you know, like, because that's just what it is. Like, when you go backwards and you go against your natural flow, that feeling is very it's a very detrimental and deteriorating, you know, feeling that you're going to consistently experience. And I can't. I can't. So another thing that came to me is and this was interesting, like the way information is revealed to me. I was taken to like an airport, you know, like vision wise, I was taken to an airport, and I was shown that life is about arrivals, departures, layovers, delays, and cancellations. And I kind of laughed when that kind of came into my mind, because I'm like, wow, where did that come from? Like, I know that, I'm sure there's probably somebody else who had that thought somewhere in the world, and I just happened to like catch it in that moment. But it made so much sense, you know, arrivals, departures, you know, as you move through life, you know, you come in, you know, boom, you come out the womb, you're here, you have arrived, you know, and you're wherever you're at, you know, for a certain period of time, then you depart, you know, you go somewhere else. And sometimes you have to be in a certain place for a certain period of time before it's time for you to move again. And that can be a layover, that could be a delay. And sometimes you think that you're going to a certain destination, and like the whole trip gets canceled, and you end up like, oh, I thought I was going there, and no, that whole thing was canceled. I'm actually going here. And in taking that and then applying it to relationships with other people, that just took me somewhere else. That took me to a whole nother place, because it's no different from, you know, you're traveling, you know, your life is about, you're traveling through life. Even if you stay in the same neighborhood your whole life, you're still traveling. And as you're traveling, you know, like I could walk down to the corner store and I could meet somebody while I'm standing in line to make my purchase. And me standing in line could be like my layover, or that could be my delay. And it could happen, it could just be that someone happens to be in the line behind me, and somehow we end up in a conversation, and it may be a conversation to where we want to stay in contact with each other outside of this moment of this delay or this layover. Or, you know, we just have that moment and then go our separate ways and never see each other again. And I realize that that's the same thing with people, you know, like you have people that, you know, you connect with that can stay in your life forever. And then people that you connect with that literally is just for that moment. And then you go your separate ways. And then, of course, people that come into your life, you choose to stay in contact for a certain amount of time, and then eventually it dissolves. And just everything has been about just accepting a continuous flow that is never permanent, a continuous movement and change that is never permanent. And because no two moments are alike, if you meet somebody in a moment and in that moment is just like explosive, it's fireworks, it's just everything that feels like bliss between you and that person in that moment is never going to be again. Doesn't mean that you may not feel those connections in other moments, but that moment that had that effect on you and the other person is never going to be again. So I've learned that trying to take a moment that feels awesome and just is so connected with another person or another situation, trying to take that moment and then stretch it into all of these new moments that are never going to align with that one moment. They're never going to be the same, to keep the same momentum that you felt in that initial moment. It's like the perfect setup for failure, because it's having expectations that this great moment will last a lifetime or will last, you know, for however long. And it's unrealistic. So many things have become so unrealistic, and it's been so spontaneous in the clarity that I've gotten, like just spontaneous moments of clarity that make me say, dang, I used to think that, like, I thought that that was realistic, or I thought that that was something that could actually, you know, be used to build something with longevity, or, you know, just so many different things. And it has all come from staring at walls for the last 5 months. That I haven't really been staring at walls, but you know, it's like there were times where I was staring at walls. Like I just couldn't move. I was just like stuck. Like I can't talk. I can't do anything. My body just wants to sit here and process, just process, download, have visions, you know, just all types of stuff. And overall, in everything falling apart and everything that I thought mattered and all of that and everything dying, it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful process. And I think because I don't care and I'm okay with letting it all go, it seems, you know, to someone looking in from the outside, it seems, what's the word I'm looking for? Like inspirational, you know. It seems like, ooh, you know, I want to feel like that, because I've had people, you know, say things, but it's like it may not feel like that for you. Like I know people to where it's like, what I'm going through, this would be devastation for like so many people, and I would not like recommend. It's certain things that I wouldn't recommend to people that have certain designs until they get to a point naturally in their lives to where they know that no matter what's going on the outside, like I am ready to take this next step of, you know, freeing myself from expectations and things that I thought, you know, were going to move into this, and, you know, just it's not something that you can really decide, you know, like I didn't decide to do any of the things that have happened to me or that I've experienced in 2018. If it was up to me, you know, like I would have been doing, you know, having more sessions and doing YouTube these last few months and doing live streams and posting more, you know, like that's what I guess my mind would have wanted to do, but my body is not the mind. You know, the body, you know, has its own processes to go through, in gestation periods, which I've talked about before. You know, like, this was a different type of pregnancy for me. And it's, you know, it's still not complete, but it's at a place to where I can express myself somewhat. And I do hope that I'm making sense in this video. But yeah, it's I have been building, you know, like, while things are like dying off within me, programs and, you know, like all of that, I have been building, but the building process has been much slower than like the purging process. And I was putting limitations on myself mentally, because things that I have built that are ready, you know, to come forward publicly, I kept putting time limits on it. Like, I kept saying that, okay, in February I'm going to do this, or in March I'm going to do this, and in April I'm going to do this. And every time it got to those months, nothing happened. Even though I could have pushed it, it didn't feel good when I thought about pushing it. And it took for May to hit for me to say, oh, I gotta stop. I gotta stop, like, thinking that, okay, this month I'm gonna do something. You know, like, I had to stop. And just in doing that, just in saying, you know what, just forget about it. You know, just, matter of fact, bask in the thought of letting it all go. Bask in the thought of letting your website go, letting your YouTube, letting it all go. And that's what's most important right now. Just bask in that, of having nothing, having no contact, no phone, you know, no contact with anyone, no PayPal account. Just let it all go. And just, you need to feel that in order to, I guess, tap into the next level of whatever this process is. And I did, and it's again, it's not over. I can feel that it's not over, but it has definitely been an unexpected journey that majority of people that I know personally don't understand and won't understand. And of course, a lot that will. I'm sure that there are some people watching this that are like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about. I'm feeling that too, or I'm going through that too. And whenever I'm moved to do a video and put out a message, it's very important that I say something that is not a waste of people's time. You know, like, I know I can be long-winded. I don't know how long I've been talking in this one, but I can just go. But if I am going to be long-winded, which, you know, I don't know if I'll ever be able to, like, you know, say something in a short type of way, I want it to, you know, not be pollution to your ears, you know. That's very important for me, especially now. Like, I've always been that type that wants to put out, you know, if I do, when I am driven to put something out publicly, I always want it to be something that can enhance at least one person. And I know that this message will connect with at least one person. But it's a lot of you all out there who are feeling, all right, I had to switch platforms because my video froze up. But I left off talking about how when I put out a message, it is my intention that it helps at least one person. And what I continue to say, which I'm re-recording now, is that I know that there are a lot of people out there who feel isolated and feel alone and feel misunderstood, and you feel as if no one can relate to you and your way of thinking, your way of wanting to live, your way of operating. And it's difficult. It's difficult to have so much pressure from the outside to conform to a society and a system and structures that you just don't resonate with. And I usually, have people one by one reach out to me who are in those isolated positions. And I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but the life of choosing to do you the way that you feel most comfortable and being yourself and allowing your uniqueness and your individuality to be free, it can be very lonely and very very detached from everyone around you. And a lot of times people are in positions to where they can't fully disconnect the way that they want to. They know how they want to live and what they want to do, but they may be in situations that keep them tied to lifestyles and habits and things that, don't align with where their inner guidance is like really, pushing them to go. And that's where you get your stress and your depression and your issues, your mental issues, emotional issues, physical issues. They come from not being in your flow. And on top of that, having to be around people who aren't helping to balance your energy. Many people are in jobs and different relationships that are just constantly taking their energy and they're not being replenished. They're not, it's not a continuous like give and take situation. And that makes it very difficult for a lot of people to find that place to where they feel comfortable with really operating according to who they are. And in me being aware of just the changes within this era and this society, and how there's less and less support of others, and there's more and more focus on, self and individuality and selfishness and things like that. it is becoming harder and harder to connect with people and find people who truly do support you, who are actually interested in getting to know you for who you are and wanting to build, you know, fruitful and stable relationships based on accepting and honoring the uniqueness of others. And I realized that on a deeper level, that the different connections that I've had throughout my life and even now, I'm the type of person that has to step away from people in order to like consistently like reevaluate, how am I enhancing this person's life? How am I being of service to them? How am I benefiting them? And I experience, and I know a lot of other people experience, that when you don't feel settled or when you feel like something is off within yourself, it's very difficult to have the energy to help other people or to even sometimes care and be concerned about other people, because many people understand, you know, self-preservation is everything. You have to take care of yourself first in order to truly, you know, add something of value to another person's life. And in this year so far, I have not really felt the energy of being of value to others because of the process of purging and elimination and deconditioning that I've been going through. And many of you all in your isolation, in your spaces of feeling alone and misunderstood, you may not be handling your isolation in a way that is benefiting you. You may find yourself feeling alone, feeling lonely, and really wanting to connect with others, as opposed to recognizing that if you find yourself in a space to where no one is connecting with you, even if you have people around you, but no one is like truly getting you, like they're not tapping into a deeper aspect of you, and they may just be, you know, talking at you and not really have any concern about how you're feeling or what you're going through or changes or anything, then that may mean that the universe is creating a space for you to really go within yourself. And I know that it's not easy when there are, you know, there's constant interference of other people around you who are not on that same frequency and are living lifestyles that you're actually trying to get away from, and you have to constantly be influenced and impacted by their habits and their lifestyles. It is hard, and it does make you want to connect with other people, and you feel this need to, you know, just have a conversation with someone who gets you, someone who will listen to all of your weird, abstract, crazy thoughts and ideas, but be able to comprehend and be able to say, I know that probably sounds like gibberish and alien talk to somebody else, but I know exactly what you're saying. A lot of people need that. A lot of people are yearning for that. And my journey is different than everybody else's, but I've learned that once you become like best friends with yourself and you find that place of being content with the possibility that you may never connect with another person that gets you and understands you, it's almost like that's, for me, it's like my inner guidance is telling me that's where I need to be. Like, that's where I need to be comfortable in. Because in this process of really getting centered in yourself, it's like you're bringing back all of your fragmentation that's scattered about from giving yourself and giving your energy to so many people. And in me just, running around on earth all my life, not knowing where I'm going, what I'm doing, who's for me, who's not for me, I have definitely spread my energy all about. And I can feel, myself retrieving pieces of my energy and building myself back up to where, I guess, once I get to a certain place of retrieving that energy or a certain amount of that energy, I don't know, but it's like I know that I will just be moved. My body will just go into a certain action for whatever the next step is. And that goes for you all as well, who are out there feeling like nothing's happening. You might be staring at walls as well. You might just be sitting there like feeling like you're just slowly deteriorating because nothing's happening. You're not connecting with people. You don't know what your purpose is. You don't have any creative energy or passion coming out of you. It's all about patience. It's all about patience and waiting. And it takes time. It really does. I don't expect for certain goals that have been programmed into me and all of us to happen by the time frames that these programs set. When people say, oh, by the age of 30, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. By the age of this, you should have this and have that. That all of that is being eliminated because it doesn't even, it's not even real. It's not even real. There are certain things that I know, just cannot move into the next phase until a certain amount of time biologically has passed. And I know I've talked about, me being in a rush before, like being in a rush to get to certain places. And it takes time to to recognize that expansion and becoming a better version of yourself, reaching certain goals that you set, completing certain projects, building things, it does, you have to be willing to wait. Even now, like when I meet new people, I tell them that I'm not gonna feel, I know that I'm not going to feel settled within this connection for at least a year. I don't care who you are. Like if I haven't known you for at least 12 months, I have to go through all of the energies of the matrix that we live in. And we know that the energies are, we have the 12 zodiacs. And for the people that follow the 13 zodiacs, however you want to go about being aware of the different cycles that we experience within this reality that we're all operating in as humans, it's unrealistic for me to think that I can meet a person and know that they're my friend after a month or after 3 months or even after 6 months, because I understand that my energy, the other person's energy, along with the planetary energy, is all in cahoots to create this connection at whatever time of the year it is. But again, that's only for that moment. And if I make long-term plans with people upon first meeting them, there's still another 11 months of completely different energies and cycles that we have to make it through as partners, whether it's whether it's as like a romantic partnership or a business partnership or a friendship, whatever the connection is, we have to make it through the cycles. We have to go through the different energies of the planetary cycles to see if, okay, we have experienced 12 months of staying connected, communicating, getting to know one another, and here we are. We've made it through year 1. And of course, the next 12 months are not going to be the same. However, we at least have established a foundation. Now, what I'm saying, for most people, you can't even fathom that, because we live in an Instagram, microwavable world right now. Everything is moving so quickly, which makes everybody physically move quickly to where nobody has patience. Nobody wants to wait on anything. And in me even saying this, I know I've grown. I know I've grown tremendously for me to actually be expressing this. And it's my truth. It's something that I'm actively, slowly moving in. I've been slowed down so much to where I have to embody this level of awareness and understanding, because I've experienced a life of quick. And I don't have anything to show for it other than a list of failures and learning what not to do. And what I should not be doing, and what most people are learning as well, is that I should not be rushing or putting time limits on things or trying to cage an idea or cage a moment and try to duplicate it continuously just for ego gratification or to fit into society or what anybody else is saying or thinking or whatever. All of that has to go. The only way I will truly experience what this life has in store for me is through waiting and being patient and making sure I'm not stressed and tense in my body. It's no other way for me. And for all of the other people that understand and you feel the truth in this message, but you still feel like, but how do I get there? Just keep living. Like that's, you just have to keep living and stop looking for a certain outcome in the future. It's okay to have goals set or to have dreams, but those can also be your downfall, and those can make you miss the messages and the alerts that you're getting in each now moment that happens as you continue to live. Because the mind, it'll have you spaced out in 20 years ahead, and the body is saying, hey, can you focus on right now, not 20 years from now, right now. Stop thinking about what's going to happen next year. Stop thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Right now, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm feeling. Pay attention to that right now, because you need this right now awareness to lay the brick for whatever is to come in the future. But don't worry about what the conclusion is going to be. Don't worry about how it's going to turn out or if it's going to turn out. Sometimes people put in a lot of work, a lot of creative energy to build something, and it never gets completed. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the possibility of it never getting completed. Just focus on making sure that the moment that you did have to place that brick of whatever you were building, that you placed it correctly. Because that moment of being correct and feeling that energy that lets you know this is perfect. This moment right here is perfect. That is a completion within itself. Each moment to where you are tuned into it and you're focused and not worrying about the outcome or the judgment of others or failure or any of that. That's where you want to be. Because you never know if you are going to have the next moment. So just focus on what you do have and put all that you have into that moment. And as I sit here and say these things, you know, I know that there are people out there that are still like, okay, sounds good and all, but can it really be applied? And I don't know. I don't know if it can be applied for you. But this is what my life is consistently showing me by me living according to what I share publicly. There's no way that I could share this information if I wasn't having the experience. And I'm not the type that promotes anything that I haven't experienced myself. As of now, my blueprint has yet to show any flaws. It has yet to not explain every memory that I can think of, every moment that I can remember. It explains everything that I can recall about my life, everything that has happened. Even as I do this video, I can pull up my design and explain it. I can explain why I'm doing this video. It's in the blueprint. So this information is accurate. It's the truth. And it's really helping me as I move through this journey. It's really keeping me focused and aware in a very simplified way by me knowing just the basics. My type, my profile, my strategy, my inner authority, my open centers, my defined centers. It helps me to just always be in the flow. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to end it there. But thank you all for tuning in and watching. I hope this video was helpful. And again, I don't know what's next. I don't know what the next moment holds. But until next time, free your mind to shine. Free your mind.